Good evening and welcome back to Mystic Matters. We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Good evening, Kristin.
Good evening,
nice to see
Susette.
you again.
Thank
Great
you.
show last week, by the way.
Great show.
Nice to have Lee Paradise back on the show with us and some great stories. So, summer is gearing up. We are here. And what's going on?
So, let's see. The Sail Fest was awesome, by the way. Fireworks. Amazing.
Now, on the New London side, the Groton side, because there's a little bit of that,
Thames Valley, Thames River Heritage Park.
Perfect.
Right?
Perfect, yes, absolutely.
Oh, so excited about the ferries there.
And just a little bit of reaching out to our friend Tricia Cunningham, the development director over at Fairview. The best place, okay?
Yeah.
For fireworks.
That was a secret.
Yeah. Okay, now it's not.
No, it's not. All right. So for Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce events, July 14th is Lawnapalooza. So instead of business after hours,
right,
we are having Lawnapalooza, which
Where's
is
that?
lawn games,
Yep.
Stonington Community Center. It's in one of the fields on the way to the bridge there.
Right.
So get your corporate teams together. We're going to compete with cornhole and other fun things outside.
Yeah, I just heard about that a couple of weeks ago during our events committee meeting.
Don't wear
And so,
heels. Don't do that.
Cannot wear heels,
No.
just so you know.
Yeah.
Lawnapalooza.
Right, and then Horses Healing Humans is having their golf tournament. We're looking forward to that. Beautiful Lake of Isles. That's July 18th. And of course, we are still looking for volunteers for Mystic Outdoor Art Festival.
That's correct. The second week of August, and we promise you we've got about 290 artists this year. The setup's going to be a little bit different, and we're very excited. The town of Stonington has welcomed us more along Home Street, Kristin. So we're going to get a lot of people coming in and just between Cottrell Street and Home Street.
Spreading out.
Great,
Yep.
Spreading out,
Yep.
and real excited for this.
Get some good room on Main Street for those stores.
For the stores,
open and
absolutely,
available.
and the restaurants. So come on down the second week in August, and like Kristin said, we could use some more volunteers. It's a great time to meet your community, and also we've got great T-shirts this year, and I'm not going to even tell you what those are going to be, but those are also collectibles. I just want to say.
I've noticed that. Yep, every year.
Yeah.
So speaking of community,
Speaking of community,
we do have the Ocean Community YMCA Mystic Branch as our guests today. Very excited. I was a Y kid. Were you a Y kid?
well, I want to tell you about my experience with the Y, but this goes back a little bit. Well, actually, we'll get into that a little bit later. Mystic Community Center Y, isn't that kind of the same? You know what I mean? I'm a little bit older. Okay, so let's not even go there. But absolutely, so I have a great community partner. So why don't you do the introductions here this evening?
Gary Pienkowski, who
Hi, Gary. Welcome.
is at the Mystic Branch, and you are the
Branch director.
branch
Branch
director
director for the Mystic Branch.
Mystic Branch.
Okay.
Mystic Branch, and
The chairman of the board.
chairman of the board,
Michael Planeta.
Michael Planeta. Yes.
And Michael, welcome back, and
Thank
welcome.
you.
Nice to see you again. Also,
Likewise.
a very familiar face in the community.
All right. Thank
Okay,
you.
and Mike, I just saw you a couple of weeks ago at a wonderful event to the Stonington Historical Society. So, give us a little recap on the Mystic Y, the Y. Okay, I was just going to say the Mystic Community Center. So let's get a short recap of back then and who you guys are today.
Okay, well, the Mystic Community Center, the Ocean Community YMCA, or the Mystic branch of the YMCA, is the successor of what was the Mystic Community Center.
Correct.
Back in about 1998, thereabouts. When the Mystic Community Center was going into some financial difficulties, it actually merged with what was then the Westerly YMCA. The Westerly YMCA then changed its name to the Ocean Community YMCA, and there's 3 branches within that association. There's the Westerly branch, the Mystic branch, and the Arcadia branch. And the 3 branches operate under one umbrella as one organization. So a membership in the Mystic branch of the YMCA will allow you use of the Westerly branch, the Arcadia branch, and with the Y Awake program, you can use YMCAs pretty much across most of the United States.
And so, a much healthier organization.
Oh yes, much healthier. You know, with any organization, a lot of it depends upon the strength of your leadership, whether it's your volunteers or your administration. And sometimes within organizations, there's bumps in the road.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
And with having other branches at your disposal, you have the ability to have shared resources, be it administration, payroll, other resources, or let's just say there's a situation where you have a aquatics director that's on vacation. You have the Westerly branch aquatics director that can step in and help out. Or a few years ago, we had a situation where we were at the Mystic branch without a branch director for a while. The Westerly branch director filled in that role for a period of time until we could, hire a new individual. So you have the strength of a greater organization that helps you be a stronger organization as well.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. So anyways, Gary, how many members do you have with the Mystic branch?
Just the Mystic branch alone, we have over 5,000 members.
Wow, 5,000 members. That's fantastic.
Where are all these people coming from?
We don't see them every day.
Okay.
I mean, out of the 5,000, you think about people's exercise patterns, and not everyone exercises every day. Some do, yes, and we see those people on a real regular basis. But of the 5,000, actually 5,400, we probably see someplace a real slow day is 300 members knocking on our door, and a real busy day is 600 members knocking on our door.
But that's a pretty impressive membership.
We think so.
For the Mystic branch. I mean, I was, literally, I didn't know you were going to come up with that number, but that's a pretty impressive. And those memberships also can, like you said, use some of the other facilities as
Correct.
well. Okay.
Yes.
And so these are active members?
Active members.
All right.
And whether it's kids taking swim lessons, whether it's seniors taking Zumba classes, whether it's you, me, and mom and pop coming in for their daily exercise routine, that the Y is diverse enough that it's serving a need for just the variety of different folks coming in with all their different interests, whether it be group classes or individuals, whether it be swimming or shooting basketball. There's a lot going on.
Okay, so some of the different programs, you just described some of the different programs that happen on a daily basis.
Correct.
So right now, what are you into right now for the kids?
The major thrust right now, it just kicked off last week, is summer camp.
Okay,
So
big.
It's a good program for us. It's a wonderful program for us too. We've got such a prime location, being right on the beach, and having
Right
the outdoor.
on the beach.
Did they call that Williams Beach at one time? Is that what
They still do.
They still do.
Okay. Well, okay. That's where I took swimming lessons. All right, I think every kid took
That's
swimming.
what I'm saying, the YMCA. I was a Y kid.
We're
I was a
waiting-
community center kid, but okay.
We're still waiting for those Y stories.
Well, I might be having a sidebar, but I think a lot of the kids at Stonington and Mystic, that's where
You learn to swim.
you learn to swim. And so that still takes place.
It sure is. It was a nice, almost honor yesterday too, where one of the local news stations called us up in the middle of the day, and they had a spot and they had a team in the vicinity, and they said, we realized it's summer, we realized that everyone's hitting the water, we'd love to come down to the Y, and again, they identified us as a leader in swim lessons and lifeguarding classes in water safety, and they wanted to do a little spot on aquatic safety. So they interviewed our aquatics director, JJ Edison, did a great job, but certainly getting out the message that it's that time of year when people should start paying very close attention, if they already haven't, to water safety, teaching kids how to swim, to get out there and have some fun, but doing it safely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very, very important.
So this is what I like about the Y, is that it has always been this way. But what I wanted to ask was, has the Y changed in this projection of time, do you think? Or is it strength in the fact that it is what it has always been?
Well, it's always changing. You always have new exercise routines that are coming up. Zumba was not, in the program guide a number of years ago. Spinning is a big part of our program guide right now. So there's always things changing, and there's always new trends that are happening. And the Y tends to be on the forefront of a lot of those things. Looking at what the new trends are and, reacting to them.
I like imagining now in the exercise groups that you watch the music change, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he's talking
yeah.
about spinning, and I was thinking about maybe the exercise classes used to be like the Grateful Dead, and now it's like something more.
Well, one thing is, and we talk about, the Y evolving as well. I mean, years ago, in my mind, the Y was just specifically for kids. That was just sort of in my mind. But you have so many programs that are for all ages.
Correct. We have a cardiac rehab program for
You have a cardiac rehab program?
yes for seniors. We have pickleball is one of the new programs that we're offering.
Well, you can't just say that and not explain it.
Yeah, really, okay, Mike, I'm switching from this pickleball to this, okay? What is this?
Allow me, please.
Please! Because look at Gary, look at Mike's face.
We make a great team.
Yes, you guys do.
Pickleball it is on record as one of the fastest growing sports in America. And despite the fact that we're still getting those blank stares from people about pickleball, come on, give me a break. But it's really strong in the South, Florida in particular, California, yes, other states, again, typically outdoor weather throughout the year. And imagine a little mini tennis court. Imagine a paddle ball, a wooden paddle, kind of an oversized ping pong paddle, and a wiffle ball on a smaller tennis court. And it's usually 2-on-2, and they've got all of the rules bouncing back and forth.
Just like tennis, or
the same concept,
okay,
yes.
but on a smaller
scale.
Okay.
So imagine the folks that can't play racquetball anymore because of the bad knees or the bad shoulders, people that can't play tennis anymore because they can't cover that territory, they've got an alternative. So it's, I think, one of the reasons.
Where did the name come up from?
I have no idea.
Okay. Mike,
I can't help you with that either.
Yeah, but I mean, look at all the interesting programs and just the fun stuff. There's for not only for kids, but for adults.
Yeah, I mean, even for summer camp now, one of the big things is archery. And after the Hunger Games movies, all the kids wanted to learn about archery. So that's one of the programs that they offer during their summer camp.
Ooh, lightsaber battles. Do you do that? That's my. You can have that idea.
We draw the line here and there. But paddleboarding wasn't around in years past.
Right,
and
that's
all of a sudden,
correct.
It's now part of kayaking for kids. It's just wonderful that we're able to offer so many different programs to so many different folks.
But you also do, and I remember this on the police commission, you have so many community events. Tell us about some of those events that you have going on.
Okay, well, one of our signature events is the Tarzan Brown
Yes.
Road Race, which is hosted always in October. I think it's the first Sunday in October. And that usually draws upwards of close to 1,000 runners a year. And that starts on Pearl Street, which was the home of the former Mystic Community Center before it moved to Mason's Island. It goes down the lovely River Road and then returns, finishing right back on Pearl Street as well. Another one of our signature events is the triathlon, which was held in June. And that's, you have a swim, a bike, a run. That event is great. You typically have anywhere from 100 to 200 participants every year. And it takes a small cadre of volunteers to run that event. Another one is the Turkey Trot, which is Thanksgiving morning. It's a fun run where you get out people to run about a 3-mile race, anywhere from a 1 to a 3-mile non-sanctioned race is really a fun run. And it gets people out in the community beforehand. We also have a golf outing that we host in September at the Stonington Country Club. This is the 3rd year of our golf outing. And we also have what's known as the Spring Fling, which is a major fundraising event that we have, which rotates to different venues from year to year, which happens in springtime.
So not only does the Y host so many community events, this is also beneficial to financially to the Y as well. I mean, because it is about raising money and also supporting the programs for the Y. But how else do you get funding?
Aside from special events, we basically go knocking on people's doors once a year.
Okay.
Typically it's in the springtime, February, March time, and we recruit up to over 100 volunteers who, again, very few people like fundraising, but I think the people that we connect with, they believe enough in what the Y is doing, and they put themselves out there to go out and ask their neighbors, their friends, their doctors, their lawyers, whatever, to make a contribution to this organization. And there's not just making a contribution so we can keep the lights on and so we can keep the chlorine in the pool and the classes stocked with great instructors. We're very proud of the fact, and we don't hide this at all, that we want people to come in who feel like they can't afford to participate in our programs. We don't turn anyone away because of their inability to pay for services. So last year we raised $150,000 through our fundraising efforts. And again, that's staff and volunteers working side by side. We gave out over $200,000 worth of services to people who knock on our door and said, I'd love to participate, but I really can't afford it. And we don't give the ship away. Everyone participates in some way with some financial support of their own, so they'll pay their share based on need.
Right.
We have sliding scale, so that, again, the people with the greatest need get the greatest support from
Sure.
us.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful collaboration with everyone in the community.
Okay. And do you collaborate with other organizations in the community?
Of course, yeah. We collaborate with a lot of the school systems, both with Stonington and Groton. Even with New London, we have a program right now where we're running where New London will bring in children during the school year for swim lessons on Tuesday mornings typically. We also, with our summer camp, we have a program with Norwich where we have, with one session where we have about 40 to 50 children from Norwich that come in and have experienced the swim camp or the summer camp at the beach. We also collaborate with many other community service organizations throughout the Stonington, Groton area.
So the YMCA, we know what it stands for, but I'm noticing that, or I say the Y, and I know what that means, you know what that means, but I'm noticing that I'm getting old enough that generations before me might not be able to identify exactly what that means or where it came from. So I'm wondering if you guys can talk about that a little
Gladly.
bit.
YMCA stands for Young Men's Christian Association. That's the basis of where we came from. It started back in the 1840s in London, worked its way over to Boston, and then spread throughout the country. Over the years, back to a previous question, how has the Y survived all these years? And I'm convinced that the reason we're still here and still going strong is that we keep changing with the times. Again, it's a community through the board, volunteers,
Sure. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
staff working very closely together to keep an eye on what's happening in the community and addressing the needs of that particular community. So as the Y developed and progressed and changed, and just recently actually, the YMCA, the whole logo concept became an abbreviated the Y. Reason being that we're no longer just for the young, we're no longer just for men, we're no longer just for Christians. We are an association, but we are totally open to the world. We're totally all-inclusive, and people would call us the Y anyways. So why not call ourselves what people were referring to us as? So it's just more of an identity, a brand that seems to be catching on.
But the organizations like the Y do have to evolve.
Yes, they do.
And what's pushing it is their members and the community. You know, it is all of us saying, look, this is the need. Like it or not, this is what we would like. So out of these 5,000 members, how many are are active? Oh, that's a tough question, probably. Yeah,
It is. A lot.
Yeah.
Again, the real numbers are approximately 500 people come to our doors every day. So out of 5,000, so that's one out of 10. So if people are exercising,
That's strong.
that seems strong.
Yeah.
We know we're struggling right now. We say that in a very positive way because we're being so inundated with people from our community, from members, and everyone needs to be a member to participate. But that you've got the lap swimmers, for example, who are competing with the water exercise people, who are competing with the swim lesson kids. You've got the basketball players in the gym who are competing with the volleyball players, who are competing with the class of 60 Zumba ladies who are craving for space. You got the kids coming in to want to shoot hoops after school. So we're busting at the seams in very many ways and struggling for space. So we are embarking on a renovation and expansion.
Exactly. I was going to say, well, you need a new space, guys. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. So who wants to talk about that?
Sure, I'll grab that first. We are in the process of developing plans, or we have plans for renovating the facility. What we're looking at doing is adding 12,000 square foot to the facility. We've actually already gone through the planning and zoning process.
I've
gotten-
seen the plans,
Okay.
Mike, yeah,
Okay.
wonderful, yeah.
And we've gotten approval by the town. We've already gone out. We have an architect that we've hired. We have a construction company that we've hired. We've gone through the traffic studies, and we're well on our way to raising the money to fully renovate the facility. So we're really excited about that. It'll add a lot more meeting space. There'll be a separate teen and youth center. There'll be a larger child watch area. There'll be additional bathrooms. There'll be more parking space. Right now, during busy hours, you're
It's
fighting
a nightmare.
for a parking spot.
I mean, even trying to pick up somebody, you're kind of like, oh, watch that car.
Just as bad as being in downtown Mystic.
It is. I mean, I've done
Outcast
that.
Weekend.
Can you pick me up at this time? Sure. Be more than happy. Well, wait, I'm coming in. Oh, Becca, yeah,
Start
yes.
walking to downtown.
Warranted, and much needed in our community. And on behalf of my store, happy to help last year in the, and of course when you can't tell, Joyce Resnikoff and everybody else. Okay, yes, we'll give no matter what. But I mean, I think that people, the community, does really want to help. You know what I mean? And so how can, maybe not at a larger level, but how can the community help?
Well, currently we're in the silent stage of a capital campaign. We hope to go public in the very near future. And at that point, contact either the branch or, contact the development director, Laura Evans, who works out of the Wesley office. Either Gary or Laura could set up one-on-one meetings to be able to talk to people about being able to give.
But I noticed in the past there was some little pockets of just kind of get some people together from the board members and things like that, and nothing wrong with that, and asking for help as well. And I think that kind of helps too, because I will tell you, if you're, everybody here is engaged in what we do in the community, but certainly if there are other people that need to be connected, it's nice to get to people to tell the story, and so hopefully more of those little pockets will happen, getting people together and asking for help, and that's just the way. But the help has to come with the story.
Correct.
And so, what's nice about MysticMatters and certainly my co-hosts here, we're happy to get the word out as well. But just going back to some of the thinking of the vision, Mike, as you head up this, the board. Okay, are your board members, particularly in the Mystic branch, made up of I want to say local people?
Pretty much everyone
And is that criteria?
Yeah, it's someone that's somehow engaged within the Y. It can be active users, it can be business leaders, it can be a wide variety of different individuals. We have retirees that are on the board, and we have younger people on the board. We try to hit many different age groups. The board is made up of 16 different individuals at this point in time, and it's a very involved and very active board that is working on the development plan.
Well, I think people want to hear that too. That the board is an active board. And you've been affiliated 25 years.
I have.
That's an awful long time. How have you seen the Y grow and evolved in the last 25 years?
I remember being a kid in the Y many years ago, and I remember, you've heard these stories, I'm sure, but swimsuits were not required or maybe not allowed in the swimming pool, and that was back when it was only...
Wait a minute, what did you just say?
Swimsuits were not allowed in the swimming pool, or optional. It was men only, obviously, but
Really?
the Y has progressed.
Bring that back.
You have heard that here. Only on Mystic Matters will you ever hear any of these stories.
We should have a fundraiser, and we could just
Young man's Christian.
I'm there.
This is fantastic.
That's a long ways in the past, obviously. But yeah, it was only 1976 when we allowed women into the organization, which seems ridiculous.
Very interesting.
That took so long for that to happen.
Well, and there used to be rooms too, right? Like the men's have
there's
rooms.
still Ys with rooms, and typically it's in bigger cities, New York, San Francisco, where they use those as almost hostel type settings for international travelers. So yeah, they continue to evolve with the times. So that the hostel kind of movement has gone by the wayside for the most part, but we've picked up childcare, for example, which didn't even exist back years ago, or grandma was doing it, or uncle was doing it.
Right, but now as the working world,
For sure, and the
mothers
Y
are
is the
working,
biggest
yeah.
provider of
Exactly.
childcare in the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember being at the Y like for the whole entire day.
Yeah.
You know, probably on a Saturday, and I didn't think of it like I didn't think till now that my parents weren't there. I just
Right, well, when
was-
you were around, it was safe. Oh, that is another thing, too. You got a real safe environment there.
Yeah.
You know, within the Y, and
Yep.
I think that's very important for people to understand. That's a great story. I just can't wait to watch this show later on myself. But that's just a great story that has evolved so much. So, looking at it now, okay, Mike, where do you want to see it go?
I'll talk very specifically and very locally. I think this Y certainly needs this expansion and this renovation. We have a facility director, John Sutcliffe, amazing gentleman, who has kept that facility together with duct tape and Band-Aids for quite a while now.
Okay. Well, you heard it here, guys. This is
A
important.
year ago, during our nasty storms, which was my first winter in Connecticut, again, the first week on the job, our heater blew. The second week on the job, our hot water blew. We got those up and running in a pretty timely manner too, but it's only time will tell before something major goes. But bottom line, we need to make this project happen in Mystic, and we will.
Right. But we also, you know, as a community, we need to own it. I mean, let's listen here, guys. We need to own it. It's in our backyard. It's right up the street from Majestic Jewels. I could walk in heels to the Y. But I mean, we need to support embarking, as Mike and Gary have said, on building this facility, which is very important. But it's not only very important to what we've said here, but to our community. So we need to own it. So if there's anything that the community can do, just give these guys a call, and of course you'll see it at the bottom of our screen. Thank you
Thank you.
very much, Mike, for being here this evening and sharing the stories and the direction of the Y. I just saw you Saturday night, so thank you also for being here. And if we have any questions, we're just going to come over there and seek you out.
You know where to find us.
Okay, yes, it's not a very long walk, like I said, nor a long drive, except I've been in that parking lot. I won't come out in the busy season. So thank you, everybody. And Kristin,
Susette.
I will see you. We've got a lot going on with the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce,
Yes.
and it's wonderful, good stuff going on.
Good stuff.
But always, thank you for pinch hitting with me. You've been just a great support.
Thank you.
We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce, Mystic Matters. Good evening.